Hello, it's me again. Okay, so where we left off is mohair. Mohair. Bountiful Baby has a reasonably priced brand. I believe it's called Ruby Red, but I don't recommend it. Okay, it does tangle. It doesn't retain its softness. It dries out and gets brittle and breaks off really easily. And this is my thought on the whole mohair thing. If you're going to invest the time to root your baby, I suggest you invest in a high quality mohair. The best brands for mohair are Delta Dawn, Slumberland Nursery, and Susan Nagel. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. It's spelled Nagel. I have also heard of alpaca mohair. I know that it's really nice to work with, but I've never tried it myself. I have also used human hair. With human hair, unless you find a donor that has thin and baby fine hair, I only recommend human hair for bigger babies, like toddlers, because the hair tends to be thicker and more coarse, and you don't want to put that type of hair, let's say, on a preemie or a newborn baby, because it just won't look natural. But if you can find, I do have several people that I work with that have that thin baby fine hair, and I just want to, offer to buy their hair from them so that I can use it on my babies. But since I haven't been reborning in quite a while, and I enjoy painting hair more than rooting, I haven't gone through the trouble of asking and then having them be like, are you crazy? Why would I give you my hair? But anyway, that's beside the point. So the next thing on my list is needles. These will be discussed in detail when we go over mohair. Mohair will have its own video, and we will discuss it in detail at that point, and we will go over needles as well. But right now, you basically have two options for needles. There is a forked needle and there is a crown needle. A crown needle can have anywhere between 1 and 6 barbs on the actual needle. If you look at the tip, it'll have these little teeth that grab the hair. And those are the types of needles that I use. I use between the 1 barbed needle and the 3 barbed needle. The more barbs, the more hair it'll grab. And if you're grabbing a lot of hair, your baby will look pluggy. So you want to use one that will grab 1 or 2 hairs, and I have found that the 1 barbed needle works the best. But the forked needle is the one that only grabs 1 hair at a time, and the hair looks natural, and it does look the best. Using a forked needle can be hard, and I tried it. I tried it for about a good 1.5 years, and I just couldn't do it. I could not, for the life of me, get that fork to grab 1 strand at a time. I couldn't get it to grab anything at a time. So I gave up on the whole fork needle, but I have thought about trying it again, only because I've watched enough videos on YouTube, and I think I sort of know how to hold the needle so that it will grab hair. So if I ever decide to use a fork needle again and I have good results, I will definitely let you all know about it. So also, the bigger the gauge, the smaller the needle. So for instance, a 40 gauge needle is a lot thinner than a 38 gauge needle. So when you use a 46, you're going to be looking at smaller holes on the baby's head, but it is harder to grab any hair with that size needle. So keep that in mind when you're first starting. You might want to buy a needle that has a bigger point with easier to see either the fork or easier to see barbs, so that you know when you're grabbing the hair. And so I'll go over the needle issue when we discuss mohair. You want to get a rooting tool. Some people root with no tool, and I have done it myself. It does work, but it's hard on the hands. And I have a job where I type all day, so I already have issues like with my wrists hurting and with my hands hurting in general. So rooting without a tool, I find that it's painful after a while. But when you do use just the needle without the tool, you know how to hold the needle so that it can grab hair. So that is one benefit of not using a tool at all, because you know exactly how to hold the needle so that you can get that hair to grab and go into the vinyl. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. The next thing on my list is eyes. You want to buy eyes, and I used to get mine from Bountiful Baby because they're affordable. I know that there's an array of different types of eyes, and some of them are expensive, like $60, because they're glass eyes. German glass eyes, I believe, are the ones that are really expensive. I've never used them myself because, again, I'm on a budget and I would never spend $60 on eyes. I just I want to stay below a certain amount when I'm spending money on any supply for my babies. So I get my eyes now from KemperDolls.com because I think they're affordable, and I think they look real, and I think they're beautiful. So check them out. They are KemperDolls.com, KemperDolls.com. And just go on there and check them out and see if you agree with me. But the other way to go, if you're on a budget, is Bountiful Baby. They have reasonably priced eyes, but I think Kemper's prices are about the same, so I don't think there's much of a difference, and Kemper just has better looking eyes. So just go on there and check them out. You will need a drying rack. When you paint your baby parts, you want to set them on a rack to dry before you bake them. It's very important that you dry your pieces before you bake them. If you put your pieces into the oven and bake them before they're dry, you will end up with a shiny baby, and you don't want that. You want your baby to look natural and not shiny, like you just painted the baby and it still has wet paint on it. So my suggestion is that you get a drying rack. You can order one from Bountiful Baby. It's basically a baby bottle drying rack, and you can get them at Babies R Us or any other store where you can get baby products. You will need a thermometer, and my suggestion, as you know, is to get two. And I got mine at Walmart or Target. You will need glue. I use Mod Podge for the inside of the head when I root the head, and that works really well. I just do 2 layers of glue, and I do 1 layer and I let it dry overnight, 24 hours, and then I put another layer the next day and let it dry for another 24 hours, and that works like a charm. So Mod Podge for gluing inside the head. Now for the magnets, I use glue E6000. It's the only glue that I've used for magnets. Now you will also need glue for gluing eyelashes on open-eyed babies. I'm I'm still looking for the perfect type of glue to use when gluing on eyelashes, and I have not found a glue that works well for me. So that's where I'll leave that. When I do find a good glue that works, I will let everyone know, but at this point I do not want to recommend any glue that will end up disappointing you. So let's go ahead and leave that there, and let's see. The next thing on my list is a doe suede body. You can get these from eBay. I get them from Bountiful Baby. Let me get a drink of water. So, excuse me, I have a little tickle in my throat. So the doe suede body, I get them from Bountiful Baby, and because I get my kits at Bountiful Baby, when you purchase a kit, they also recommend the body size. So I just find it easier to get everything I need at once instead of getting the baby and then having to size the correct body that goes with the baby. You don't want to end up with the wrong size body. So I just do it all at once, and I get them from Bountiful Baby. Their doe suede bodies are good quality. I've never had an issue with them. They're easy to work with, and they fit the baby. The proportion of the body fits the baby correctly, which is really important. So that's where I get mine. The next thing is polyfill. Bountiful Baby has the best polyfill I have ever used, but they are expensive. So I get mine at Walmart. Walmart has a couple, maybe 3 different brands, and I suggest you buy the one that you like. I don't know what brand I have currently on hand, but when I went to Walmart, usually they have one or the other, and I just buy whatever feels right. And so far I haven't had any issues filling my babies and making them feel real. But if you want the best quality, I would suggest Bountiful Baby's polyfill. Their polyfill is soft, it's fluffy, and it's awesome, but it is expensive. So I don't know if you want to invest in that, but that's where that's at. The next thing is you want to buy nylons, just regular stockings, to put your glass beads into them. I buy a 10-pack of knee-high nylons at Walmart, and I think they're under $6, and they work really well. I usually double them, and they work for me. So that's that. The next thing is fine glass beads. I buy them from Bountiful Baby whenever I can find them on sale. I think their regular price per pound is about $2.50. If you can find their glass beads on sale, I think you can get them get a pound for $1.99. So that is where I try to buy mine, but sometimes if it's not on sale at Bountiful Baby, I prefer to buy it on eBay. And I prefer the bigger glass beads, not the kind that feels like sand. And I know some glass beads are just so fine that you end up thinking that you're working with sand, and some of it even falls through the nylons. It just kind of bleeds out, and you end up with just a bunch of sand in your workspace. So my suggestion is that you go with a little bit bigger size. In fact, I suggest that you get your first pound from Bountiful Baby so that you can get an idea of what that looks like and feels like. so that when you make future purchases and you end up buying something that's finer, you have something to compare with, and then you can decide from there which one you like best. So the next thing is rings. And when I say rings, I mean these little plastic rings that you can get from Bountiful Baby, and you put them on the baby's neck. And that eases the turning of the head on the body. And those I really strongly suggest that you do invest in buying them. And I believe they're like 50 cents per ring. And they also sell them for the legs and arms on full-limbed babies, and that just helps with, again, the turning and twisting of the limbs. It just makes it a lot easier when they have those rings on them. And for 50 cents, it's a good investment. So I suggest you do get your rings for either the full-limbed babies, and always for the heads, the neck area. Okay, the next thing is plugs. You can get plugs for all the limbs. I used to purchase mine from Bountiful Baby, but I found that little round felts work just as well. And I just cut them out in circles, and I use E6000 glue to glue them on each hole on the legs, the arms, and the neck. So you can use either or. I hate working with glue, but I think the felts work just as well as the plugs. And sometimes the plugs, even though they're the right size, sometimes they don't fit just right. So, you know, play around, get a few from Bountiful Baby when you get your supplies, and decide, you know, what works best for you. The next thing is cable ties. Cable ties will end up saving you money. Buy the doe suede body with the string ties, and when you're ready to assemble your baby, switch them to cable ties. Bountiful Baby sells a bunch for like $7. I think you get 25 to 30 cable ties for $7. I think it's a good investment. They're handy to have just in case you buy a baby and you want to switch out the body or add more weight. You always want to have these on hand. You just never know when you might need them. So my suggestion is that you, when you get your initial supply haul, go ahead and get some of these. You will not regret it. And the last thing on my list is magnets. I get the big magnets that go inside the baby, right behind the mouth, on the head. I get them from Bountiful Baby. They are the biggest magnets I have found, and they are powerful. The other magnets that I use on my pacifiers, I usually get on eBay or Home Depot, depending on the size that I need. So that is the end of my list. I will have all of this information on my blog. So you don't have to take notes. You can just go over to my blog and everything will be there in writing, and you can print it out if you wish. So that's the end of this video. I know it was a long one, but there is, like I said, you will be spending a small fortune getting your first set of supplies. So keep that in mind, and I hope it doesn't deter you from wanting to start this hobby. It certainly didn't do that for me. I was determined to get started, and I'm glad I did. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up and let me know what you think, and leave me your comments down below. I will talk to you soon. Bye.